Acacia. Acacia nilicata. Sun and Mars. Religious herb and herb of consecration. It invokes the Greek god Osiris, and it's also called gum arabic. Acacia has a long history for use as a religious herb. Lore tells us that the Ark of the Covenant was crafted of this wood. Some also believe the tabernacle of the ancient Hebrew tribes was made of acacia wood. Acacia is connected with some of the Hebrew atonement customs. Because of its religious associations, the mundane use of this herb is prescribed. Christian lore holds that acacia thorns are the ones that were used to fashion the crown of thorns placed upon the head of Christ. Robert Graves lists acacia as one of the 9 materials of Nimrod's tower, and later writes that Jehovah selected the acacia from which to speak to Moses because the tree constituted a definition of his godhood. To the White Goddess, a historical grammar of poetic myth, Graves also writes, It is from its waterproof timber that the arks of the sun hero Osiris and his counterparts Noah and Armenian Zytheros were built, and the Ark of the Covenant, the recorded measurements of which proved it sacred to the sun, is a host of this mistletoe-like loranthus, Jehovah's oracular burning bush and the source of manna. According to Graves, hedges of acacia were grown as a means of defining the spaces among the communities of the Essenes, segregating women's areas from men's. Graves believed that the acacia was grafted from a pomegranate, and that this was the tree of life in the Garden of Eden. The Judeo-Christian God, with a capital G, is very skilled at horticulture and botany. The wood of the acacia would be an excellent choice for a small chest or a sacred box. Ideally, it would be handmade and used solely for containing ritual tools. For those unable to obtain pieces of the wood large enough for box making, the herb may be used to concentrate and consecrate the containers used for your...
Right? I have 5 fingers.
Consecrate the... I'm recording right now. You know this. Anthony's being weird. To consecrate the containers used for your sacred items. The dried gum may be burned as an incense. The leaves or the wood may be infused to create sacred water for aspersion. As an herb of consecration, acacia may be used for blessing any sacred space, be it a temple or a circle, storage area for religious or magical possessions, or etc. And today, acacia is known for its bonding properties and is a staple ingredient for those who make ritual incenses, and more readily recognized by its common name, gum arabic. Strawberry. Fragaria vesca. It's ruled by Venus. Its usage is, in a modern herbal, it is quoted an old recipe, which requires strawberry leaves to be gathered on Lammas Eve. This association with Lammas Eve suggests that there is a connection with this Sabbath that could be employed to benefit us all. Hello, we're back to this. Anthony just took off, so. Alright, so. It's a little late here for me. It's 2116. Do you know where your children are? Not that that matters, but anyway. So I think we left off with acacia. Oh no, strawberry, I'm sorry. It's my nickname for Anthony. We're going to next go to... Sorry, I'm trying to speak softer for you. Ammoniacum. Ammoniacum. Dorina ammoniacum. It's ruled by Jupiter, and it's a religious herb, and it invokes Jupiter, the god of the Romans. The ancient lore of this tree is cited by Greve to date to an ancient temple dedicated to Jupiter Ammon, a site known for the collection of this resin. The dried resin may be used as an incense in religious ceremonies. It should prove useful in bringing increased resources or invoking any of the benevolent aspects of Jupiter, the god of the Romans. Next, Angelica. Angelica archangelica. It's ruled by the sun and also has affinities with Leo. It's a counter-magic herb, herb of consecration, herb of immortality, protection, purification, and it's a visionary. It invokes the Archangel Michael. Greve describes the remnants of an earlier pagan custom of Eastern Europe in which people carry the flowering stalks of Angelica into the village while chanting some ancient ditty in Lettish, and antiquated as to be unintelligible even to the singers themselves. As seen by its name, Angelica has been associated with the Archangel Michael. It has come to bloom near his feast day and is connected with the Christian observance of the Annunciation. Angelica is known for its protection against evil spells and spirits. Mrs. Grieve says it's been called the root of the Holy Ghost. It is also related to Dr. John Dee, the court astrologer of Queen Elizabeth I, almost said the second, of Queen Elizabeth I, who, while using Angelica, discovered the angelic language of Enochian. This majestic herb is grown in royal gardens around the world. The Master Book of Herbalism considers Angelica one of the most valuable herbs of protection. The magical properties of Angelica are real and work in their own ways and in primarily two. One is through the establishment of protection, creation of barriers against energies which would be detrimental or destructive or harmful to us. The other is through filling the person with an abundance of good and radiant energy. Angelica has a pleasing flavor and may be used internally, in teas and other decoctions. It is also an excellent bathing herb. The attributes of this relative of celery not celerity, enhance one's aura, aid the person in maintaining a joyful outlook on life, and assist in allowing the internal psychic self to be open and functional. Angelica may be used in ritual baths, self-blessings, and in rituals of purification. For the devotees of the Atlantean myth, the Angelica may be integrated into medications to help the practitioner have a sense of lore and knowledge, specifically of the ancient world. It was widely used in antiquity. Plato was the first to write of this legendary plant, and it remains repeated even today and recited by poets and scholars. The belief in the protective and benevolent guardianship of angelic beings, angelics generally, and angels and archangels is a force to be reckoned with in the religious and supernatural worlds. For persons who follow angelic magics and angelic spiritualities, for any person desiring of better reaching of their own inner light, or for any person trying to find inspiration, tapping into one's highest ideals, Angelica will help you embrace and embody your own spiritual essence, and as a bringer of light, Angelica may be used at the Sabbat and holiday of Candlemas, the feast of the waxing light, as the days grow brighter and our hope is rekindled. Angelica may be used with the Strength card in Tarot through meditation. Let's do Avens. Avens, Avens, Geum urbanum, ruled by Jupiter. It's a counter-magic herb and herb of protection. It's also called cloveroot, colewort, herb bennet, way bennet, and wild rye. Again, I am grateful to Mrs. Grieve for her outstanding preservation of extant herb lore. Avens is called the blessed herb, Herba benedicta, of which a common name is still extant, herb bennet. Now, the name herb bennet is a corruption because in former times it was believed that it had the power to ward off evil spirits and venomous beasts. It was worn as an amulet, and still is to this day, for those purposes and others. The Ordo Sanitatis, printed in 1491, does state, "Where the root is in the house, Satan can do nothing, and he flies from it. Wherefore it is blessed before all other herbs, and if a man carries the root about him, no venomous beast can harm him." As a blessed herb, Avens acquired Christian associations. Many herbs with trifolite leaves during the supernatural medieval ages came to be seen as the symbolic herbs of the Trinity and were once commonly used as a metaphor for Christian beliefs by missionaries, including the passion flower. Greaves also cites the date of March 25th as a desired date for harvesting the root. Avens may be used in nearly any manner to bring protection to self, kindred, and home. As an amulet, the root of the herb is most desirable, a whole root being more potent than chopped pieces or ground powder. The latter is eminently suitable for incense. Avens may be integrated into any ritual designed to promote blessings and good energy while keeping all negation removed from one's surroundings. Azadirachta, Melia azadirachta, Jupiter. It's a religious herb ruled by Jupiter, also called bead tree, holy tree, and Indian lilac tree. A stunning tree of Lower Asia. In its focus in the plant world, its lavender-colored flowers produce hard nuts which are gathered for the making of prayer beads and rosaries. Let's do benzoin. Benzoin is ruled by Mars. It's a religious herb. It's called Styrax benzoin. It's also a magical herb of visionary, and it invokes Aphrodite, Mut, Venus, also called Styrax. Benzoin is considered sacred to Venus, Aphrodite, and to Mut. It makes an excellent incense for use in their temples. This herbal resin is not naturally exuded from the styrax trees. The herbalist must make a small cut into the bark deep enough to pierce the inner bark. This causes the tree to create the resin. It will then slowly seep out where it can be collected, dried, and ground for ritual use. Benzoin has become associated with two Wiccan and witch Sabbaths. It is a superior incense for Candlemas and also may be used at the autumn equinox to ensure and help us understand the mysteries behind the turning of the seasons, when there is a balance between night and day and night. Benzoin can help the student understand the nature of transitions, both in learning how to live with the wheel of the year and in gaining comprehension regarding natural cycles and change. Benzoin's best use may be found in its ability to provide focus, enhance concentration, and assist the student when moving into the astral realm, particularly with the supernatural power of astral projection and its real, actual use. Benzoin is desirable for those who seek to journey to or to protect their spirits in the astral world. Magically, benzoin is known for its ability to promote generosity. It can open a closed spirit which is suffering from selfishness, or it may be used to bring increased success to any magical working or to attain magical goals. Burned as an incense during meditation, it will increase the serenity of one's own energy and environment. Students of the tarot may use this herb to move beyond the mundane symbols of the 7 card of any of the 4 suits. Indeed, benzoin may be used to better understand any card of the Cups suit. Let's do blackberry. Rubus fructuosus, ruled by Venus and also has affinities with Aries. It's an herb of protection and an herb of magic. It's also called bramble or brameberry, or brambleberry. We find within Greaves' herbal old folklore, which has survived well into the 20th century. The leaves are said to still be in use in England as a remedy for burns and scalds. Formerly, their operation was helped by a spoken charm. Creeping under a bramble bush was itself a charm against rheumatism, boils, blackheads, etc. Blackberries were in olden days supposed to give protection against all evil runes if gathered at the right time of the moon. The whole plant once had a popular reputation both as a medicine and as a charm for various disorders. Blackberry leaf may be used in magical healing. It also is possible to dry the fruit and powder it, making a very pleasing infusion or tea for use in ritual cups when working with health or healing spells. Magical blackberry uses for blackberry brambles may be gathered and woven into pentagrams or wreaths hung in auspicious, that's auspicious, you know auspicious if you're a classics major, locations within the home to provide protection. I'm going to also go back here and I'm going to go to the second part of the book. It's more than just plants though. I'm going to highlight some things for you. They are things I think might benefit you, Rebecca, specifically. So I just selected them and I did mark them out and I forgot about this, so we can check these out for a second here. So we're going to start here with Aura. Angelica is the herb that they recommend. Of all the herbs we know, only the Angelica has a truly established reputation as being able to directly affect your actual aura. Certainly there are others you might discover, but Angelica alone has been documented in lore. For balance, cumin and oak. The concept of keeping one's life in balance is quite widespread. It is usually easier to think about it than it is to manifest. These two herbs will help the overall process of getting us settled down and recognizing what we need for a healthy balance. Next, blood. Maguey is the herb recommended for blood. The ritual use of blood is far more common than one would guess from our literature. Even if one would not wish to use the maguey to induce the flow of blood, which is what that plant does, it could also be burned as an offering during any ritual work involving blood, or for any blood-borne illnesses and the healing thereof. Bravery. You have to be brave. Borage, fig, linden, poplar, and thyme. There are many situations in life which call for the virtue of bravery. Although some see this word as synonymous with courage, others see them as different hues. For that reason, they are treated as separate entries. Courage. Oh, where did courage go? Oh, there it is. Sorry. Courage. The separate entry. Basil, sweet basil specifically, borage, fig, poplar, and thyme. These are herbs which give us an inner strength when facing a situation or a person that is most challenging. Next is cat magic. I figured you'd like this one. Catnip and valerian. Catnip is associated with the feline goddesses, especially Bast of Egypt and Bastet. We know that cats love this herb. It sets loose a whimsy within the cat, releasing the kitten whim and the kitten within. But there's also a magic in these two herbs, of catnip and valerian. Not all cats are fond of valerian. Not all people are fond of valerian due to its smell. But it has a long history of working with feline energy and has many, many uses beyond the ability to smell them. Next, we have diamonds. Until I saw the diamonds and the crown jewels of the Tower of London of the British monarchy, I had no real appreciation for these stunning gems, able to refract light as bright as a star. These herbs work well with this precious stone, asafoetida and sandalwood. The sunflower for dexterity. Those who would need to improve their dexterity might find the sunflower to be a helpful magical tonic. This stately flower itself demonstrates dexterity in many ways it may be used, and also has a certain optimism and hopefulness as a bright sky and bright star and bright sun plant, because it always faces the sun. Next, we have elements. For all four, bamboo, coconut, and oak. Strangely, they only have 3 plants listed. While so many herbs have a more singular purpose, these have been clearly associated as related to all 4 elements, even if there's only 3 of them. If brought physically into a ritual, the possibilities are truly endless. They may also be used to help you work with all 4 elements simultaneously. Oh, I see, like the alchemical sulfur, salt, and mercury, I see. That means one's active, one's passive, and the other one's like the neutral, like a base oil for it. The other 2, like the matrix. Sorry, I understand alchemy a little bit. It's really weird. Emotional calm. Sandalwood. This beautiful green beryl is associated with 2 herbs. I'm sorry, I read the wrong one. Sorry. Emotional calm. Agrimony, burnet, great burnet, calamint, and myrrh. These are almost read emeralds there. These are not to be confused with the once popular herbal medicines used to treat hysteria. These herbs work within one's inner self to magically affect your emotions. Let's read emeralds too, because why not? Rose and sandalwood. This beautiful green beryl is associated with rose and sandalwood, and these 2 herbs have considerable lore and magic within them, and within all gemstones having to do with the emerald. That of the emerald, though, is particularly potent and may be worked with either herb. The Empress card. The Empress card in tarot, often perceived as the maternal aspect of the goddess Venus, the Empress offers us many mysteries associated with creativity as well, fertility, and she extends a love into the world around her which is neither demanding nor demeaned by any conditions. These herbs will help you become more attuned with the meaning of this card: bergamot, columbine, elder, heather, patchouli, sandalwood, and rose. The Emperor card. This fifth card of the major arcana, if we consider the Fool to be first, represents many aspects of discipline and mastery without a loss of sensitivity, and these herbs work well with the Emperor card: blessed thistle, dragon's blood, and patchouli. Emotional recovery. Calamint, gentian, myrrh, pitcher plant, sage, tulip, and yarrow. When recovering from an emotional trauma or a deep emotional pain, these herbs provide a spiritual source of healing. For eyesight, clary, clary sage, eyebright, larkspur, loosestrife, purple loosestrife, marigold, panic grass, and vervain. Although there are numerous remedial methods for healing our eyes, these herbs provide a magical boost for the process. I would also say Dr. Franz Barden also has a very different formula, but is a more direct magical application. He's a good man you should look into if you're listening to this far, if you haven't fallen asleep yet. There is more than literal vision involved in our supernatural sight. And there is a literal supernatural sight to have our vision involved. These herbs will improve our ability to see things as clearly as they are, or to become more aware of the world around us, especially the supernatural world, as seen through our eyes, seen and unseen. Oh, our eyes that are seen and unseen, I see. Faith. Butterbur. Faith is not something that we are born with. No matter... Oh, the herbs for that word. I think I read them. For faith, butterbur. Faith is not something that we're born with, no matter what you might believe. It's something that just happens to us through experience. Solid faith in the universe and your spiritual path is something which evolves over time and requires work and sometimes uncomfortable self-reflection. But butterbur is an herb which will help you during those times when your faith feels shaken and when it is difficult to grasp why events are moving in a direction beyond your understanding, and also to figure them out. One more and I'm going to take a break after this. Fidelity. Caraway, ivy, and rosemary. Associated with being faithful to one's partner, these herbs in this list may be given as a symbol of one's promise, but may also be used to help strengthen one's resolve during those times when fidelity is more difficult to maintain.